He doesn't even look like an engine, said Edward.
What's the matter? Asked Thomas. You don't sound well. I can't seem to get up steam properly, said Edward. But I'll manage. Don't tell anyone, Thomas. Thomas wasn't sure about this. I don't want Sir Topham Hatt to know, hissed Edward. Edward was very worried. What if he was too weak to pull his train? He would be of no use to the railway. He wouldn't be useful at all. Edward shuddered at the thought. Must keep going, he wheezed fearfully. I'm sorry, Thomas, Edward wheezed miserably. I'm not a really useful engine anymore. Sir Topham Hatt will have to send me for scrap. Later, Edward was taking on water. He was talking to Percy. That new Steamy Devil is best friends with the Diesels, Edward puffed. He doesn't want to be with Steamies at all. How do you know, peeped Percy? James told me and Thomas told him, whistled Edward.
That crane might be big, Gordon sniffed, but he has no engine. He can't move unless another engine pulls him. Edward looked at the crane. Gordon was right.
Then I don't think he can be really useful, chuffed Edward slowly.
He's not very useful, boomed Gordon.
He will only get in the way, echoed Edward.
My name's Rocky, the crane smiled at Edward.
I'm Edward, puffed Edward.
Can I come with you? Asked Rocky. I could help you with those heavy pipes.
I don't need your help, sniffed Edward. Newfangled nonsense. And he puffed off quickly. Before the pipes had been properly tied down, he looked at the heavy pipes and wondered what to do. Thomas had said Rocky was very strong. Newfangled nonsense, huffed Edward, and he asked his driver to telephone for Harvey. We have to get through, tooted Thomas. Why don't you go and get Rocky? No, whistled Edward. Harvey is doing a fine job. We must be patient. But Edward had never taken the mail before. Sir Topham Hatt told Edward to collect the parcels and deliver them, just like Percy. Edward wanted to ask how Percy would deliver the mail, but he didn't want to look silly.
I don't want Sir Topham Hatt to think I can't deliver the mail, puffed Edward. I'll have to work out how to do it by myself.
Edward really wanted to ask Thomas which parcels he should deliver first, but Edward didn't want to look silly.
Edward was very happy. He looked ahead. If he took the express line, he couldn't stop for people to admire his magnificent water wheel. But if he took the other track, he could stop at stations and bridges and sidings. A lot of people would see his special. The signal changed. Edward didn't take the express line. The track ahead is in need of repair. But the track ahead led to the school. Edward wanted the school children to see him, so he chuffed on towards the broken track. Charlie sighed.
You know, Edward, maybe you're too old to be fun.
Edward stopped. He didn't like being told that he was too old to be fun. He thought he was as much fun as any young engine.
I can be a lot of fun, Charlie. Then show me.
Edward huffed and puffed. He knew he should chuff carefully to Marron Station with the Fat Controller's car, but he also knew Charlie wouldn't think that was fun. So Edward decided not to take the careful track.
Follow me, Charlie. I'll take you on the bumpiest and jumpiest, the twistiest and turniest tracks to Marron Station. Then you'll see just how much fun I can be. I'm ready, Eddie.
First, Edward and Charlie clickety-clacked along the bumpiest tracks. They jiggled and joggled and they bumped and they jumped.
Whee! This is fun!
Next, Edward and Charlie rattled round some of the bendiest bends.
Fizzling fireboxes! I didn't think you'd be this much fun, Edward!
This made Edward happy. Edward and Charlie rocked and they rolled, and they told jokes.
Okay, Charlie, I have a joke for you. How do you know when an engine is eating?
I don't know, Eddie. Tell me.
You hear it chewing. Oh, my. I spent too much time on the bumpy and bendy tracks having fun.
Charlie sighed.
Is that as much fun as you can be, Edward?
Edward didn't like that.
No, I can be much more fun than that.
I was right. You are too old to be fun.
Edward didn't like that. Then an idea flew into his funnel.
We'll take the Fat Controller's car to the steamworks to be fixed. It's always fun there.
Charlie was surprised.
Bubbling boilers, Edward. That will be the most fun of all.
Charlie and Edward steamed in.
Hello, Kevin. Where's Victor?
Hello, Edward. Victor has gone to pick up a part. Can I help?
I'd like you to fix the Fat Controller's car.
Kevin was surprised.
Sling my hook. We don't fix cars.
I'm sure you can. We will be back later to pick up the car.
Edward, you're not too old to have fun. You were the most fun of all.
That made Edward very happy.
But it wasn't just the engines who were scared of the ghost train.
You'll have to take the mail train, Thomas. Me? I'm not doing it. How about Edward?
I'm not setting one wheel out there in the dark. Cow? You were all frightened of a cow?